online. We are here in the great room, gathering, having hot chocolate and cider, and having some social time for the next 15 minutes or so before we get started with the program. So thank you for joining us. And I see we've got 13 people already live streaming with us, so a big welcome. And I'm going to mute myself for a little bit and just enjoy the slideshow here, and we'll get started in about 15 minutes. Okay, I am back with you. For those online participants, this video is winding down and then we're gonna get started. Good evening, everybody. It is 7:15. I hope that you've had some fun conversations with each other and have figured out who that winner is going to be. I want to welcome you to the Nature Center here at Hemlock Crossing County Park. My name is Curtis Dykstra. I'm a Parks Program Supervisor and Naturalist with Ottawa County Parks. And I kind of head up this coffee with the thing called Coffee with the Birds. Anybody heard of it?
Yeah.
And this is an extremely, dare I say, sacred night when it comes to Coffee with the Birds. It's become kind of a thing, and I am so honored to be a part of it, and I'm so glad that all of you came to join in on the fun of the reveal of the 2026 mug and the winners of the 2025 photo contest. And I'm going to talk for about half an hour or so before we get to that, right? Yeah. Maybe I'll do my presentation first. That's some mean looks. It's laughs, but it's that kind of laugh. Like, yeah, not really. Don't do that. No, but seriously, what we're going to do is we're going to reveal the winner. We're going to we've already looked at the photos, so we're not going to do that again. We're going to reveal the winners for this year's contest. We're going to reveal the mugs, and we'll see if our winner is here with us today, and do some congratulations, things like that. And after that, we will I'll be doing a presentation on my birding exploits of this year 2025. And to 4 different states: New Mexico, Utah, Idaho, and Washington. And hopefully I keep you awake through all of it. But the excitement really and truly is about the mug reveal. But you know, that only takes a little bit of time. You all are coming out here making a lot of effort. Maybe not so much if you're online. You didn't make all the effort, but you know, you made all that effort, and I like to add something to it. So that's the presentation portion tonight. So 7 to 7:15 was socialize, 7:15 till 7:45, 8 o'clock, depending on how long I talk and such, will be the reveal, and then after that will be the presentation. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, first and foremost, we have to congratulate Ryan Beebe and on his photo from 2024's photo contest of the American Avocet, our winner and 2025 Month of the Month. So let's give a round of applause. Congratulations, Ryan. It's been a great year. It's a great mug. And I know you couldn't be with us tonight, but you'll be watching online later, so thank you very much for your wonderful photo and a great year of drinking out of this beautiful mug. Well, we had 167 entries. That's a record. Every year seems to be a record. We were already talking about, like, how are we going to do this in the future? We're going to have to, like, rethink how we do our judging and things like that, because it's quite a process. 167, and so all of you who entered the contest, you are on this page. And so how about just a round of applause to everybody that entered the contest. Thank you so much for participating. would not be a thing without you making it a thing and participating. I'm just floored with the talent that comes both from professional photographers and just lay photographers out there. I love to see the variety of photos, even if they're not going to make it on the mug. It's so fun to have that connection to this community here in Ottawa County. So keep up the good work. Start sending those photos in. Maybe not quite yet. You can wait a little while before you start sending them in for the next year. We probably won't open submissions until we get toward the fall. But keep in mind, it's already that new year for 2027's Mug Club. So I want to see some great photos in the future too. But which one is it? We've got all of this lineup of mugs, and those of you who came in live in person here, you saw we have a new display, the Hall of Fame of all of our mugs and winning photos. This is the 9th photo that is going to be on a mug. I can't believe it's already been that long. Coffee with the Birds has been around longer than that even. It'll be, this is its 13th season, I think. Next year's going to be the 10th anniversary though of the Mug Club. So maybe we'll have to do something special, like some new categories maybe. If you haven't filled that out, I want you to go online, probably before the end of the year, if not even before the end of, or before the first Coffee with the Birds. I'll probably shut that down. As far as the questionnaire, what would you like to see as far as categories in the photo contest in the future? So please get online and check that out and let us know your opinion. So which now is going to follow in this lineup of wonderful mugs? First and foremost, the honorable mention goes to none other than our current winner, Ryan Beebe. So his wonderful photo here of a ruby crown kinglet, with its ruby crown actually showing, is one of our honorable mentions this year. So congratulations to you, Ryan. You're in the top again this year. Anybody out there with a 2018 mug right now? You can see it in the display case. That is a golden crown kinglet. And it was our first mug, and we were so taken aback by it because it was of a kinglet. And these are hyperbirds, okay? They don't sit still. They do, trust me, they don't sit still until they're dead, I think. Like, they just keep moving. I think they move in their sleep. To get a photo of a kinglet sitting still, or at least have a high enough shutter speed to get it it looks like it's sitting still, is amazing. And that was one of the things that helped us to determine the first winner, and one of the reasons why we choose this to be our honorable mention. And unlike the golden crown kinglet, which shows its golden crest all the time, the ruby crown kinglet doesn't. Who in here has seen a ruby crown kinglet but never seen the ruby crown? You see? Yeah. More times than not, you see this little dull bird without seeing the red on the head. It has to actually erect the feathers on its head. When it's excited, agitated, things like that. If it's chasing another bird around, it'll do that. So, great photo of a really cool bird. And this bird is smaller than a warbler, bigger than a ruby-throated hummingbird. Very, very tiny bird. Oh, and I should have been doing this the whole time I was talking. I like to put these full screen so we can get the full impact of these birds and these photos. Congratulations again, Ryan. So our second runner-up and honorable mention winner is Lene Roon. Lene is here. Yes. Congratulations, Lene. Renee took this beautiful photo of a snowy owl in Coopersville last winter. You can see it's from 2024, but that was when we were open for submissions. Okay, anytime after the closing date of this current session and on, it's good to go. And she caught this thing in action with a couple of mourning doves. And not only did she get this shot, which got the honorable mention, but we're going to display it together because it tells a story. These two photos kind of go together. And in the calendar, they're going to go together too. So this, you can see it's eyeing that mourning dove there. And the thing I love about this photo is she caught nature in action. It just happened, and there it is, chasing this mourning dove. And I am eager to hear the whole story when we do interviews with each of our winners this year, and you'll find out more, I'm sure, from Renee later on when she gives us an interview if she's going. All right. So excellent photo of Snowy Owl. And our third honorable mention, Matt Ahinger. Ahinger, am I saying that right?
Oh,
Anger. His white-eyed beautiful, crisp shot of a bird that is not real common in Ottawa County. This bird is one that will become more common in Ottawa County, but right now it is few and far between. They show up in ones or twos here and there. They've been at a few different spots. This was at Upper Macatawa Natural Area, right? Yes. Upper Macatawa Natural Area. And this is a southern or southeastern species from the southeastern U.S. that is expanding its range northward. We see that trend in a lot of different birds. It gets its name because it has this white eye. The juveniles don't, a lot of the vireos don't have a colored eye when they're juveniles, but this is obviously an adult bird. Here, beautiful shot. And I have to say it just because you're famous now. You're infamous in Ottawa County for finding a first county record, which is also documented in the photo contest, black-throated gray warbler on Harbor Island this, what was it, September? It was October, no, it was beginning of October, it was, yes. So he found that wandering on linear park trails this fall, and a lot of people came from a lot of places to see that bird. So congrats on that, too. I had to call you out for that. Okay. Our fourth honorable mention is Janet Lewis's photo of red-breasted nuthatch. And guess what she was chasing when she got there? Is Janet here tonight? If she's online, congratulations, Janet Lewis. I know Janet. She's been on my bird walks for quite a number of years, and thank you for submitting this wonderful photo. What's spectacular about it is that it's not just a bird shot, right? This shot is a bit of a habitat shot. But does anybody see the most special part about this photo? What's it? It's got a bug in its beak. It's got a little tiny spider at the tip of its beak, and it is in the crispest form. How she got that photo, like, beyond me. I'm not that good a photographer. I purposely will never enter this contest. Conflict of interest, I don't know, but I can't do this. This is what's that? Oh, and I didn't do that. Thank you. Full screen. Thank you. You can call me out. Yeah. Yay. Full screen. Now you can see it. That helps. That's why I did that. Thank you. Okay. So everything's really crisp. It's got a nice green background. It's not too busy, and just shows you where that bird hangs out in these pines. And not only looking for seeds, but also looking for insects. Red-breasted nuthatch. Something to note about this bird is that we're having an eruption of red-breasted nuthatch this year. It's been a couple of years since we really had them at the feeders here, and we have them now at our feeders. So it's been a dry spell, and we're glad to have these little, I don't know, what's the adjective I want to use to describe them? They're so fun to watch. They're cute. They're pugnacious, maybe that's the word. They don't let anybody mess around with them, and they're just a lot of fun. So, great shot. Are we ready for drum roll? So 2025 photo contest winner is, I'm going to do like all the award shows, stand here for about 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Are we ready? Yes, we are. I pressed the button. There we go. Come on up. Yeah, oh yeah. June has gone through this before. And she's carrying with her, well, she's not carrying with her now. She could. Her mug from 2019, right? The second year. The second year of the contest, she won with her Orchard Oreo shot. Congratulations. Thank you. So, I want you to be here right front and center when we reveal the mug, okay? And we're going to give you your bird feeder. Okay? Everybody ready? In front of the camera here. Hello, our online viewers. Congratulations. Thank you so much. And do you want to take this with you or you want to pick it up later?
I think I'll pick it up later.
Yeah, but what she also gets is a certificate for a free birding field trip registration for this year. And she gets to choose a location for the spring and fall Mug Club members only bird walks. And there's a few other things that we'll inform you of, but I think you've been through it, so you kind of know what's coming too. So congratulations. Thank you so much for entering. And this shot is so crisp and fantastic. There you go. You did it again. Thank you. You can even tell what species of fish this is.
Yep.
Anybody know? Anybody want to guess? That's what I thought at first, until I looked closer. It's a largemouth bass. You can see the line running down here. It looks like a goby because its mouth is open, gaping, and so its gills are flared, and so it looks like one of those goby. And that was my initial reaction. That's a goby. No, it's a largemouth bass that it's downing, and it's in midair. Kind of reminds me of another winner a couple years ago, right? That cedar waxwing shot with the berry. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's a trend. Now everybody's going to try to get the food in the mouth. But the grays set on the white, bluish white in the back, and the ice here, it's like the thing just posed perfectly for it. And I am eager to hear the story behind the mug shot here. And it's a very iconic bird for our area as well, with all the wetlands and river greenways that we have and where our parks are located. Although this wasn't taken at one of our parks, but that's all right. This was taken at Stu Visser Trails in Park Township. So, she is the winner of a mug and a membership, bird feeder and seed from DeBrine, help scheduling member-only bird walks and free birding field trip. And that's one thing I want to point out. The DeBrine Seed Store sponsors the prizes for this competition, and we use their seed for the feeders out here as well. And so they donated all of these bird feeders here for our winners tonight. So every one of the honorable mentions will get one of the 4 feeders in the back. Come talk to me afterwards, and June gets the feeder up in the front. Unless you all want to trade, that's all up to you. But June may have a feeder similar to that already. But so thank you to DeBrine Seed Store for your support of this program. Let's give them a round of applause. If you go there, tell them thank you for their support of this program. And Ken and Caleb and the rest of the crew there are just top-notch as far as customer service, etc. So do give them some business over there in Zeeland. And they've got great seed selection. So, what that means is, was that tempting enough? There's the mug. How to get your membership? Well, some of you already have it. We had over 30 that purchased their membership already. Thank you for doing that, because that makes it really easy on Noel and Dana back here who will be helping you out at the end of the program. It'll be a mad rush at the end, right? Program's done and everybody wants to get their mug. So be patient, give them a break, and they'll get it to you. I'll try to see it, you know, if I don't talk too long, I'll get out a couple minutes early so we can get you on your way as well. But you have to visit the Nature Center to pick up your mug. Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and Sunday, noon to 5. We're closed on the holiday, so Thursday and Friday we're closed this week. But the benefits of your membership include the 2026 limited edition mug, door prize entry for Coffee with the Birds events, 2026 magnets, free hot drink card, members only bird walks, picnic with the birds. July. It's usually the end of July. We'd love to see more people participate in that. We've been getting about 15, maybe 20 people coming. It's a lot of fun. Encourage members to come to Hager Park in July. And you know, the birding is a little less so in July, and it's just a fun gathering. And then you also get the knowledge that you are supporting Coffee with the Birds and feeding the birds that are feeders here. This goes to support this program, and it goes to support feeding the birds at the feeders here at Hemlock Crossing, so thank you. And especially this year, Ken told me over at DeBrine, seed prices are up. Seed prices are definitely up. We've got a lot of imports that come in here, and so that definitely has been impacted by our economic situation. And so his prices are going to have to reflect that. So just keep that in mind too. He's seeing less people buying seed or buying less seed because of that. So we want to help and give him some support to get through this tougher time too. So get yours today. You can do it online if you go to the website here, miottawa.org/birding, and you click on the Mug Club membership icon, and it'll take you to register for it like you're registering for a program. And then you'll get on our list, and then you can come in and pick up your mug. Or you can purchase it in person tonight too, if you do wish. We do have them available for you to pick up tonight if you purchased it ahead of time. And if you haven't purchased it ahead of time, you can either do that with a QR code. Oh, Noel, you're wonderful. Thank you. I'll hold this up here for everybody online too. There's the QR code. If you haven't purchased yours yet, you can click on that QR code. And if you want to click on the QR code, there it is, to get to miottawa.org/birding, and you can purchase your mug there. I'm probably going to have that on the next slide, aren't I? Yeah, I am. Oh, wait, no, that was the calendar. We also have a 2026 calendar. Do you have one I can show off?
No, I didn't. The box is still taped for security purposes.
For security purposes. Well, April over here, April and her class from the CTC developed this calendar. And it is for sale $25, and it is cash or check only to, I don't know exactly how they got to write that out. What is it?
It's OAISD.
OAISD.
Yep.
I will put that on the website.
We have a flyer at our table, so it has all the information that we need. All of the money from the calendars goes directly to support student stewardship projects in our purse.
So thank you to the CTC students in developing this, and you're going to get a sneak peek of the calendar right now. Because not only did we have some honorable mention top prizes here, but did you make it into the calendar? Well, if you are one of our winners, you are in the calendar. No worries there. That's an automatic. That's one thing that I have to tell them. But then they get to decide some of their top winners to put into the calendar. So I let it go out of my hands, and these CTC students, they do a wonderful job of selecting some photos. So here we go. Oh, there you go. And you support them by taking your purchase. So let's take a look at which photos are included in the calendar. First of all, we've got House Finch by Kay Clammers. Kay here tonight? Well, congratulations, Kay. Of course, we've got June's picture here. Not in June, in February. Sorry. It just went with February. And Matt has his photo here in March. And then Emily Torga with Yellow Warbler here for April. So congratulations to Emily. She is also a former winner. The Tufted Titmouse mug is her winning photo. So for May, we've got 2. So this is going to be, I'm going to say all 3 names, and then we're going to congratulate them all 3, okay? Blackburnian Warbler by Jeff Slaughter, Ruby-throated Hummingbird by Carl Manning, and Bobolink by Kai Sturck. Congratulations to you. Are any of you here tonight? Any of you here tonight? Well, congratulations to you. Hopefully you're watching online and seeing that you are in the calendar. Same thing here. We've got a couple of winners. Gene Braxwell with a shot of Bald Eagle, and Eric Franklin with a shot of Green Heron. So congratulations. Anybody here? We've got Eric Franklin here. So congratulations, Eric. I would say the comic look of that heron.
Yes.
Upside down, that's a winner. That's a fun shot. So congrats on that. All right, Ryan here in September, and then we've got 2 for October. Nick Panozzo is Yellow Rump Warbler, and Ryan LaRufa, Eastern Bluebird. Are either of them here tonight? Hey, all right. Great shots here, representative birds of Ottawa County, and of course the nice fall colors in the back. I think that was one of the reasons why they chose those for October. And of course now we've got these photos. So this is how it will be displayed in December for Linnea Roon and Janet Lewis for November. So congrats again to them. And that is your 2026 calendar. So one last time. And I know that they are not expecting this. But somehow this photo slipped in, and I said, you know what, we've got to display this photo. Carl and Judy Manning are worthy to be honored as 2 wild birders dedicated to birds and birders, and that is what that plaque says. And the next time you are at Stuyvesant Trails, find this bench and take a seat. This is Carl and Judy Manning. They are not here tonight, but they had photos, both of them, in the contest. This is Eared Greed by Judy and Ruby-throated Hummingbird by Carl. They are the co-authors of the Birds of Ottawa County and Annotated Checklist, and they are lifelong birders and just a staple in the birding community here in Ottawa County. So congratulations to you. They've entered photos every single year. They are faithful with their photo submissions. You'll make that mug one of these days, I think. But just wanted to honor them. Some local birders honored them with this bench there at Stuyvesant Trails who live on in infamy. They are a wonderful couple, and if you see them out on the birding trail, make sure to say hello to them. Now you'll recognize who they are. So, Coffee with the Birds is coming up. What is Coffee with the Birds? It's an informal time for us to enjoy coffee, goodies, birds, and community. And that event looks like this. A feeder watching session at 9:30. At 10:30, then I do a birding tidbit presentation here in the great room. And then we do another feeder watching session at 11:10 a.m. back in the wildlife den. What do those feeder watching sessions look like? Well, the first one is going to be live streamed, so we'll have some equipment in there. But you can watch from home or you can watch in person. And we'll be looking at the birds at the feeder. I'll be fielding questions. We'll be having conversation. What birds have we been seeing lately? It's basically unplanned time other than to just talk about and enjoy the birds at the feeder and anything going on in the community bird-wise. And so we drink coffee and we enjoy the birds and community together. And we have 2 sessions of it because we've been getting a lot of people. We have had consistently over 100 people through the day at these events. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of people. It's really energizing to see everybody in the birding community to participate, and we also get a lot of viewers online, so thank you for participating in that. And so, upcoming dates, December 6th, I'll be talking about the great blue heron at the December 6th event. January 10th, we'll have the interviews for the photo stories from the winning photos. I'll be talking a bit about the Merlin Bird ID app that's evolved so much. I gave a presentation maybe 3 years ago on it, and it's just time to do it again. I get a lot of people asking about it, so I'm going to talk about the Merlin Bird ID app on Valentine's Day. And in March, I'll be talking about my trip last February to find the 5 northern owls in northern Minnesota with my friend Mike. I do want to point out, Point of Light Media. Now that is not Kestrel Imagery. That's because this is his new business name. So Rick Veldman is the owner of Point of Light Media, and he's going to be doing the live streaming again. So we're really thankful for him to do that at a cost that we can manage very, very well. He's a big birder, and he's a photographer and videographer, and does a great job. Check out his YouTube channel, and boy, is it! I don't think it's Point of Light Media. I think it's oh my goodness, now Kestrel Imagery. If you look up Kestrel Imagery, I think you'll find it on YouTube. And he does videos too, like his canoeing trips and things like that. A lot of fun. He just put one out recently to Killarney National Park, Provincial Park, excuse me, in Ontario. And so he'll be doing the live stream for these events. And if you need any information about this program or anything else bird-wise in Ottawa County, go to miottawa.org/birding, and you can explore your Ottawa County Parks birding website right there, with all kinds of resources, videos, local information on local clubs, coffee with the birds, and club information, etc. It's your go-to website. So, we'll see you December 6th, right? Okay. Kind of feels like, I don't know, what do I do next now? You know, we've got the mug. I do want to say, I love this mug, and I love that we work with 4Imprint is the company that we work with. They have done great work, and if it's me, I get a little nitpicky. And this year I got a little nitpicky, and I said, it's a little dark. Is there any way you can lighten that up? And you know what they said? They're going to send us a whole new shipment, no charge. So we are handing these mugs out tonight, knowing that there are others coming. And when you have your mug and you bring it to us, we'll switch it out for you. So when we saw it, and I didn't want to say it initially because I didn't want to break the moment, we kind of were like, it's great, but it's a little dark. And the customer service has been wonderful at 4Imprint. They're the ones who've done the mugs for the last, except for the first year. They did not do the first year, then we found them the second year, and it's gone with them the whole way since then. So pick up your mug tonight, totally fine. They are not asking for these back. We haven't set up the method for sure of what it's going to be like. You have to hand it in to us or what, but we do have to track which ones we're handing out. So when we figure that out, we'll communicate it to you. That actually was just decided today. And I'm glad it was decided today so I could let you all know that. Just tremendous customer service there. So we'll get a brighter mug for you. And that's 144 mugs. So, but thank you very much. I don't think anybody in 4Imprint is watching, but thank you. Okay. I didn't throw my last 6 out of this mug. So, what I'm going to ask for is the lights to go down so that we can see the screen a little better. Is that possible for us to get the lights there? Press off, and it takes a couple of seconds, and then they'll pop off. There we go. We're going to leave the lights on the back. Our lights do not work in a dimming situation here, so we'll leave some lights on in the back so you can see. But Didn't want to do this for the presentation of the mug. Now you all can fall asleep. It's all right. So, this is the presentation portion of this special night. And I'm going to share some tales from the 50-50-50 birding road. What is the 50-50 birding road if you don't know? And how does it look, Dana, on there?
It's good.
Everything looking good? Okay, great. Thank you, Dana. Dana is behind the camera and moving it around, so thank you. I'm telling everybody online that. What is the 50-50-50 birding road? So, the story goes, I was birding on my way to North Carolina for a trip a few years ago. And I woke up one morning and I said, oh, I haven't filled in the block of Georgia. And I want to go down into Georgia and bird in Georgia so I can fill that block in on my eBird map. And within a couple hours, I had 50 birds, no problem. I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. I wonder if I can do that in every state. And I proceeded, I went straight south and then across because I wanted to see some things down that way. I wanted to bird those states, but I didn't have the 50-50-50 idea then. And I birded across through Alabama, South Carolina, I got Tennessee, didn't quite finish off Kentucky because I had already come through it. And I said, I can do this. I got 50 in every one of those states. And then I went to New Jersey and Pennsylvania and West Virginia, across that way, and I had 50 in all those states. I'm like, ooh, I could do this. And so an idea was born. At the time, that was 3 years ago. I'm 48 now, so 45. I was like, I got 5 years. I wonder if I can do 50 birds in all 50 states by the time I'm 50, which is March of 2027. And so I started planning it out. And I said, this is going to be a good way for me to travel to new places, have new experiences. It's not just about the numbers. It's about the fun experiences along the way, going to places that maybe I wouldn't have otherwise gone to, or maybe having an excuse to go to a place I've always wanted to but never have. So tonight I'm going to talk about 4 places, and many places at those locations as well. New Mexico, Utah, Idaho, and Washington. These are the states that I have traveled to in 2025. So, oh, there's my little explainer. 50 birds in 50 states by 50 years. And if you are interested, you'll see this little, oh, it's not on here. You'll see my little oven burner icon on there. I do videos of these explorations as well. So if you go on to my YouTube channel, Oven Birder, Ovenbirder, you'll find me on there and you can watch some of these videos. But we're going to go into talk a little bit more about things that I didn't talk about in the videos. There'll be some overlap with some of the videos. And I don't even have all of my Idaho or Washington videos out, so when you get a preview of some of that too. I got into video stuff during COVID when I had to communicate via video from the Nature Center, and I'm like, this is kind of fun. So let's go to New Mexico. It is January of 2025. About the 3rd week of January in 2025, I made my trip down to New Mexico. And I said, oh, wonderful. This is going to be a great opportunity for me to leave the cold. This was Chicago with the de-icing, and man, they spent a lot of time de-icing. It was a cold Arctic blast coming out of the north, and I was dreaming of New Mexico, looking like this, nice and warm. My dreams got shattered. That cold front went all the way down to New Mexico and beyond. My first day there, now granted I was at the top of a mountain, Sandia Crest, that's where this picture was taken. It was 9 degrees in New Mexico. So, needless to say, I didn't get a whole lot of warm weather in New Mexico. The temperatures were frigid. And here I was standing here watching this feeder because I was waiting to look for black rosy finch. It's the one of the few places that you can go to see 3 species of rosy finches at one spot. All 3 species. Brown-capped rosy finch, black rosy finch, and the gray-crowned rosy finch. Both of those last 2 species would be lifers for me. And the first day, I got them. But they lasted at the feeders not very long, and it was so cold, my camera shut down and did not take photos. You can see the temperatures that night in the negatives. Just east of Albuquerque, and temperatures were well below freezing even down in Albuquerque, down in the valley. So the next day I went back up. I said, I got to get photos. I want to see them better. And this is the view from Sandy at Crest. This is Albuquerque down here. Beautiful, lots of snow up there. Lots of frigid temperatures. Black rosy finch, did I see it? Yes, I did. Did I get photos? Yes, I did. They came in a flock and they swirled around and they lit on the feeders for a little bit. I got some video of them on the ground hopping around. This is one of my better photos. They didn't stay for long, and it was only black rosy finches the second day. None of the gray crowned rosy finches or brown cap rosy finch. So I didn't get the 3 species, but I got the 2 that really counted because they were lifers for me both, and I was able to get pictures of black rosy finch. So if you're in Albuquerque in the winter, this is a great place to go. Hopefully it's a little warmer for you than it was for me. There's actually a rosy finch station down there, a research station where they study and they capture them. If you go on the weekends, they're actually doing mist netting of the finches and things like that. So a lot of neat stuff going on there. I also had some ideas that I could go looking for the northern pygmy owl. Now, I had seen or heard all 19 species of owls in North America, regularly occurring owls in North America, but the only one that I hadn't seen but had only heard was the northern pygmy owl. So I was determined. I'm like, they're here. I'm going to go see if I can find one. So that evening, that first evening, I went down here and walked on this icy road, which is closed to vehicle traffic, and it was getting dark, and I heard one singing. Yes, I'm not going around on the mountainside at night, so I'm going to come back. I found where one is, and I'm going to see if I can find one during the daytime, which they can be a bit diurnally active. So I came back the next day, I walked this road up to the same spot, and I start hearing some activity, talking mountain chickadees, talking red-breasted nuthatches, were just going nuts. So I started following that noise, because when you hear that noise, that actually means that they're probably being agitated. They're agitating something that they don't like. They're mobbing something. And before I could even get to where that was happening, I heard a little of the northern pygmy owl. So I knew it was around. And I searched, I went up and down the hillsides, over rocks and things, and then all of a sudden it would be over there, I'd hear it again, and the birds would fly over there, chasing this thing on the rocky hillside, and eventually did get my northern pygmy owl. And he spent most of his time eyeing all of the birds that were bombarding it, and at one moment he kind of looked down at me, and I clicked the picture I got. I took a whole lot more pictures than this one. And I got my lifer looks at a northern pygmy owl, number 19 of 19 that I have now seen in North America of regularly occurring species here. So from there, I went down into the valley to Bosque del Apache National Wildlife Refuge. You can see I still have my My Birds hat on. It was still very cold. And how does cold weather impact the life at Bosque del Apache Wildlife Refuge, which is a place for water birds? Okay? You go there to see sandhill cranes, ducks, geese, snow geese in particular. Well, they were there, but you can see it's all frosty and icy, and most of the ponds were iced over, which meant the numbers of birds was a lot lower than normal. In fact, the sandhill cranes and the snow geese were almost non-existent at Bosque del Apache. So I made the best of it. I did find some sandhill cranes standing on the ice, but it wasn't quite the experience I was hoping for. Oh, there's some snow geese standing on the ice, but it's not the tens of thousands of them that you can sometimes see there. So I had to wait for it to warm up, and a couple days after I got there, it was supposed to warm back up and maybe hit 50 degrees. Whoa. Here it came, the warm-up, it did, and it eventually did hit about 50 degrees at the warmest, and the water did open up, and I did see more birds. So after it warmed up, what were some other birds that I saw? Well, here's the big numbers of sandhill crane, and this actually was at a refuge north of Bosque del Apache. Somebody gave me the information that more birds were staying there. Maybe there was more open water, and now I'm going to forget the name of the refuge. It's halfway between Albuquerque and Bosque del Apache refuge. And had lots of cranes there, and lots of snow geese. So I got my fill of some snow geese and cranes despite the cold weather. Just had to switch up locations. And I didn't see the numbers that sometimes they see in the winter, but I still did see good numbers. I was happy. And I got some lifers along the way. Wherever I go, I try to pick up birds that I've never seen before, including Chihuahuan meadowlark, which used to be part of the eastern western meadowlark complex, and they have since given it a species status because of its range and because it's lacking some black marks here. It's got a really thin V here, and it's got white on its chin up here. There's like an eastern meadowlark, but really no eastern meadowlarks out there. It's all westerns. So it had some things going for it, and they gave it species status, and so I got Chihuahuan meadowlark, which was really hard to sort through all of the western meadowlarks to find that. That's the best job that I could get at a photo. Sagebrush sparrow had somehow escaped my other travels out west, and so I found sagebrush sparrow and Mexican duck here, which looks like a lighter version of the American black duck. And then, of course, I love to see some of the desert birds when I'm in the desert. This is Bosque del Apache, by the way. You can see the wetlands here along the river. And I did a hike up into some of the surrounding hills. And that is what Bosque looks like from a distance. Puraloxia. Right here, that's a cardinal-like bird of the southwest desert. Big beak, the crook in the beak. One of my favorites, Gambel's quail. So pretty. They don't sit still though, really hard to get photos of it, and this one finally sat still on this rock for quite a while. I was able to get some great photos of Gambel's quail. But there's an arboretum if you go birding there, go to the arboretum, which is by the visitor center, and wander that arboretum. There's all kinds of these guys running around, and the feeders are great to get looks at other birds, such as curve-billed thrasher. That's how I got such great shots, is because I think this is a suet feeder over here or something. There's a suet feeder somewhere that's coming into that. Curve-billed thrasher. Greater roadrunner. I had to leave the little road in there for that. Roadrunner. Hard to get photos of them because they're real shy and they bolt when you see them. This is actually a screenshot of a video that I took of it running away. But colorful, really unique birds of the Southwest. Western bluebird. I don't get the chance to see a western bluebird very often, and I have never had looks as good as this. You can see the difference from the eastern bluebird. They've got the blue down here, and they've got blue around their throat there, and they've got red on their back too. Really pretty. On my way back up to Albuquerque, there was a park to stop at to find a couple of other species that would be lifers for me. One of them was juniper titmouse, and here it is. They like to live in the foothills. Somehow I missed it when I was up at Sandia Crest. Stopped here and found juniper titmouse in the foothills of Sandia Crest. And this guy right here, Crystal Thrasher. Not great photos, but I was shooting. It's a thrasher, all right. Hard to get shots of thrashers. You're always shooting through brush. And of course, my camera focused on the dirt behind and not the bird sitting right in the middle. Anybody been there? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not alone there. And you see, mine isn't about the photo so much as it is about the story. That's what I say so that I can get away with throwing some really bad photos in here. So this is the view from the foothills there in New Mexico outside of Albuquerque. And that wrapped up my time. It was a Monday through Friday that I was there, 5 days. And I managed 98 species. Now that 98 species is actually building on a short list that I had, and I can't remember what it was. It was somewhere in the teens before that. I had some historical records from having been there before, but was nowhere near 50. Of course, I well surpassed the 50, and I tried really hard to get 2 more species, but it was not worth missing my airplane. And my last species, I cut it off here so you didn't see it, it's American crow. Yes. So 98 species, you gotta go back now for 100, right? Always an excuse to go back. So where did I go next? Utah. And this one was a bit of a conundrum for me. Why was it a conundrum? Because I went to New Mexico here, and I needed to go to Nevada here and Idaho here, everywhere surrounding it, but none of the spots there were close to getting here. So like, I'd have to take a couple extra days and like do some traveling, and it just was getting complicated. Not knowing what my conundrum was, my friend Eric Gustafson invited me on a trip to Salt Lake City. He knew not about that. He knew of my 50-50-50 birding challenge, but he didn't know that I hadn't been telling people, oh, I know how I'm going to do Utah. He didn't know that. He just said, hey, I want to help you out. Let's go to do Utah. And we did a 48-hour trip to Utah. Wow. Yes. And I told him, hey, that is a state that I really need. This will really help open up opportunities for me to go do other things in these other states rather than squiggle around and try to waste time coming down and just going over the border. And now I get to see it right in the heart of Salt Lake City. Because the Great Salt Lake Birding Festival was going on in May. This was the 18th of May. Flew out on the 17th, birded the 18th, flew back on the 19th. And we went out there for one particular thing, the marathon birding trip, which is part of that Great Salt Lake Birding Festival. And it's a big day, is what it is. You go and you try to see as many birds as you can in one day, and it was a guided trip by Pitta Tours, Tim Avery with Pitta Tours, and it was fantastic, except for it was a rainy day. I go to New Mexico for warm weather, it's cold. I go to Utah when all the weather before and after is nice and sunny and warm, and the day that I'm there, it's all rain. And not just rain, snow as well. Up in the mountains, it snowed. We saw rain and we saw snow that day. But you know what you do? You make the best of it, because the birds have to do the same thing. So here is Tim Avery doing his leader. Oh no, now I've set a precedent. When I lead a tour, now I have to do those. So here's Eric, waiting to get on the bird that Tim is lining up for him. This is the Antelope Island Causeway, and it is fantastic for shorebirds, water birds, ducks, etc. And so we drove this causeway out to Antelope Island and stopped and scanned for all kinds of shorebirds like long-billed curlews, all kinds of black-bellied plovers, thousands and thousands of sanderlings, you name it. There were so many birds out there. In the first couple hours, we had already neared the 50 mark. And so I knew that 50 was not going to be a problem that day, even with the rain. There's the vans. It was 2 van loads of us going on this tour. We got over to Antelope Island, and this is the view of the Great Salt Lake from Antelope Island, which is a really beautiful landscape. And at this spot, I got my only lifer of the time in Utah, Chucker. And Chucker is actually a naturalized species. It's not a native species to North America, but it's kind of like, house sparrow or house finch around here is actually not a native species in Michigan. So this is one that's escaped, but it's naturalized and is a countable bird. So I added Chucker as a life bird. And Eric kind of resented me from getting this because we pulled over and it was right there in a little parking lot. He climbed the sides of the mountains in Idaho looking for this bird before getting it, and then here it is. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to climb that side of the mountain in Idaho to look for that bird. So, other birds that we saw included, oddly enough, a northern mockingbird, but yeah, their range extends all the way out that way, even to California. Horned lark and western meadowlarks all over the place, but since I got photos of them, I put them in the program. I don't have pictures of all of the birds that I saw. The reason I don't have very many photos from Utah is because we were focused on our binoculars. And when I had the opportunity, I would take a picture. But we wanted to just see the birds. We wanted that full experience. And I knew that I would miss a lot if I was fumbling with the camera too much. So I took some pictures, like I couldn't resist this. This is cropped a bit. But this guy is giving the attitude of, I do not like this rainy weather today. So this is a burrowing owl. Lots of them actually out there. I say lots. I mean, they were dotting the landscape out there. If you look close enough, you can see them sitting in the grasses. And this is the landscape of Antelope Island. It's a beautiful spot. And actually, the clouds cleared a little bit. You can see it's not raining. You can even see a little bit of light coming through here. We were hopeful. But you can see it's really dark over here. We got grasshopper sparrow at this spot, which was a great bird for that location. Brewer's sparrow and a few other sparrow species here. And then he took us to this spot, where he knew that, and this is a photo by Pitta Tours, that barn owls were roosting underneath a shelter. And so I didn't get a picture of that. I could just see it out my window as we drove by. We didn't get out because we didn't want to disturb them. But that wasn't the only barn owl that I saw on that trip. I saw this one too, perched up in a tree. And I have a picture of Eric here because I have to give him credit. I was sitting there with my camera, trying to steady myself, zoomed in all the way to try to get this picture. And it was raining again. So guess what Eric did? He held the umbrella for me while I was clicking the picture. And soon we stopped. I looked around, nobody was there. I'm like, oh no, we gotta run for the vans. And we made it back. They didn't leave without us, but they were definitely waiting for us. So I got my picture. That's why I kind of left the photo taking to the side a little bit on that trip. Oh, and then the rain really came. We came off the island and went to Farmington Bay National Wildlife Refuge. And this was what birding was like at Farmington Bay. It did clear up for a little while. We did get out, we scoped a little bit, but it was heavy, heavy rain. And we got Livestream and Western Grebe. These are actually two different photos. They look like the same because it was raining so hard. Livestream has an eye in the light. Western Grebe has an eye in the dark part. So we got both of those at the refuge along with other waterfowl. We were discouraged. Are we going to last through this weather, or are we going to abandon our plans? I say our plans. It was Pitta Tours' plans to stick around in Salt Lake City right here. And they said, we're going to read the room and say, let's go to Ogden up here, because guess what? It was clearer up in Ogden. And instead of going to the typical route down here, we drove up to Ogden for clearer skies, better weather, and you can see the blue here. It's snowing in the mountains outside of Salt Lake City. So it was a cold rain as well in the valley. So we went to Ogden. There's the park that we went to in Ogden, one of the parks we went to in Ogden. And American White Pelican, we'd already had it for the day, but then I had a chance to take a picture. So American White Pelican. In the Ogden area, we also had wild turkey and a bunch of other different species. Wild turkey was displaying just like within 25 yards of us, so hard to not take a picture of that. And then we had a drive-up owl nest here to add great horned owl on the list. So our numbers were well past 100, but if any of you have done a big day, you know that once you get real high, the numbers start coming a lot slower and a lot slower, and you get more and more tired. That's what was happening. By the time we were leaving Ogden, we were looking at adding some mountain species by going up into the area of Powder Mountain. It's a ski resort up there, and you can see there was some fresh snow, and actually the snow was coming down while we were there as well. We did add a few mountain species like mountain chickadee and a few others. One of the birds that was best was actually an American three-toed woodpecker, which I think they've seen maybe on one other trip in the 15 years or so that they've been doing this trip. So American three-toed woodpecker, and I missed, I've got it on here. Oh yeah, here we go. There's a picture of Eric and myself. You can see everything's frosted with snow. And American three-toed woodpecker, got it. Williamson sapsucker, wait, did I see it? No. And Williamson Sapsucker is one that I hadn't seen since the early 2000s out in Colorado, so I was really kind of bummed that I didn't get to see that one. It did not stick around. Mountain chickadee. Then we came down out of the mountains to Echo Canyon. What do you see in a canyon? Well, Virginia's warbler was one that I had only seen in Colorado a few years before. And black-throated gray warbler. I was like, yes, I don't get to see that one very often. I'll never see that in Ottawa County, right? Yeah. Lo and behold, later on that year, I saw one in Ottawa County. And then canyon wren. Well, everybody else on the trip, I don't know, I think I have pretty good ears. Everybody else on the trip was saying that they were hearing a canyon wren singing. It's a pretty obvious call. And I never did hear it, so I couldn't count. I'm like, come on. I'm starting to lag behind the leaders in the group, and I'm like, am I going to make it to 150? That's what the goal was, to make it to 150. Did not make it to 150, but I did get to see my family in Park City. So this is my son, Caleb, and his wife, Hannah, and they, unconnected to my trip out there, were taking a trip with her family to Park City, Utah, and then they were going to go out to Lake Tahoe after that. And we had been in touch, and I said, if it works out, wouldn't that be funny if we could see each other out here? And sure enough, we were going to eat supper in Park City. And so I told them, and they said, oh, we're out just at our hotel. And they came over while I was eating supper, and we got to see each other and talk for like 10 minutes. But how ironic that we end up in the same place, totally unconnected trips. And then day is waning. We went up to Big Mountain Pass. And this was a secondary spot to the better spots, but because we had changed routes, we needed to go to Big Mountain Pass. It's a paved road, and there's more traffic on paved roads. And so it was a little harder to hear the birds up here. Beautiful view at the end of the day, but here's us straining our ears to listen for birds like well, I did see green-tailed towhee, did see that one. But McGillivray's warbler also did see that. But then to listen for dusky grouse, this guy claimed he heard it, I didn't hear it. Ruffed grouse, this guy claimed he saw it, I didn't see it. I'm like, come on, you're making this stuff up. You gotta be kidding me. I'm never gonna get to 150. I was at 140 something at this point. I was hoping to get to 150. Did not do that because after dark, along this paved road, we tried for flammulated owl. And if you've ever owled on a busy paved road, it's kind of hard, especially when you're listening for something that seems very soft. Like that. I never heard it. This guy claimed he did. I don't know, he's got special ears or something. I did not hear it, but what didn't help is that some, I say teenager, I throw the teenager under the bus, right? My teenage daughter right here. Some young person, drove by, saw us all there, and gunned his car, his souped-up car, just, I mean, it hurt my ears. It was so loud. And when you've got a situation like that, and you're listening for, forget it. And by that time, I was cold, I was wet, I'm like, it's fine, we're just going. We're calling it a day. And we did call it a day, and Tim Avery dropped us back at our hotel. We were exhausted. We'd been going since about 5 in the morning, and it was like 10:30 at night. 144 species for Utah. So it was a good day, even though the weather, I look back on this experience as a great time birding with a good friend, Eric, and seeing a lot of great birds and experiencing a lot of new places in a very condensed amount of time. 48 hours from airport and back to airport, from Ford Airport out and back. So it was 1 p.m. on the 17th, back at 1 p.m. on the 19th. 48 hours trip. We did not sleep that much that night because we had to get up for a very early morning flight too. So that was Utah. Done. Check it off the list. 2 more states to go. Next on the list was Idaho. Birding Idaho. Nobody really thinks about, like, let's take a vacation to Idaho. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a beautiful state. It's well worth your time to go there. And I needed to go there, of course, for 50-50-50, but then when I started looking at the opportunities that were there were a lot, okay? There were a couple of species that I wanted to get in particular, white-headed woodpecker and Cassia crossbill, which is one that you can only reliably get in Idaho. That's it. It's the only place that you can reliably get it. Now, they show up sometimes in other places, but typically that's it. And I had never seen a white-headed woodpecker, and I had, at that time, only 2 species of North American woodpeckers left to see. And so I thought, let's go see white-headed woodpecker. Well, what do? I get there, and 15 minutes from the airport is one of the better birding spots in the area of Boise. And it's Blacks Creek Bird Reserve. And by the time I ended up birding around this reserve, I had already gotten nearly 50 birds in just 2-3 hours. So Blacks Creek Bird Reserve is this wetland area. It doesn't look like much, right? It's just some water out there. But that's when you look a little closer and you find things like cinnamon teal, beautiful ducks. And you find these guys, American avocet. And I couldn't help but notice, if you all were here when I gave the presentation on the American avocet last December, because that was our winner, I had this slide up here about its elaborate courtship display. Yes? Anybody here, you remember that? Okay. Because you wonder, this is a beautiful bird, and they have a beautiful courtship. And guess what I got to see when I was out there? In the year of the American avocet, I did see, this is my video that I took, of the American avocet. The male splashes the water around the female while she's got her neck outstretched right over the water.
There you go.
Is it late enough for PG-13?
Yeah.
They cross bills, and he puts his wing around her and courts her, walks her off. Just a beautiful, I love the airplane that comes in at the end.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? That's just right on point, isn't it? But, so I got to see it. Ryan, hey, I got to see that in live action. Thanks for making it the year of the avocet. And then, guess what? It wasn't the only bird that was doing that same courtship dance. I didn't know that black-necked stilts do the same thing. Sure enough, I was watching them do that as well. And then I got long-billed curlew, and now I'm spending more time with some photos. So now I have some better photos. Long-billed curlew, black-necked stilt. And around the back end of this, as I was walking through the grasses, a short-eared owl flew up and sallied about over the sagebrush. So it was a good day. And then I hear this guy, this yellow-breasted chat. He's chatting it up. They do all kinds of weird noises. I won't try to do any more than that. But I got great pictures of yellow-breasted chat, which is a very skulky bird, doesn't like to come out in the open very much. And this rock wren as well gave me great looks, real close up, sitting on a rock. Did you know that if a wren sits on a rock, it's a rock wren? If it's in a canyon, it's a canyon wren. If it's on your house, it's a house wren. If it's wintertime, it's a winter wren. That's how you identify your friends. Magic Springs Road. From that point, I went south to the southern mountains, kind of on the border of Utah. So yeah, it was close to Utah. It was within 3 hours or so of Salt Lake City. So here I am, back 3 hours from Salt Lake City, just about a month later. Not even a month later. But now I was focusing on Idaho. This is the sagebrush country of Magic Springs Road, and I was looking for a few different species, a couple of lifers in particular, sage grouse, which I did not see, but when you're in sage country, you find sage thrasher. And he says, what are you looking at? And prairie falcon perched up on a rock just perfectly. I just sat in my car, and click. Beautiful shot of a beautiful view of that bird. And then I found my lifer, gray flycatcher. Beautiful bird, right? It's just so good. vibrant the color is. The name is gray flycatcher, okay? So what is distinguishing about this bird is that it's gray, it's a flycatcher, and it lives in sagebrush country. So there's really no other flycatchers like this that live in sagebrush country. And they also give a unique call, so I heard the call, I saw the bird, I got my gray flycatcher. Swainson's hawk, sitting right on this pole next to the road. It's like the birds were just teeing it up for me. Beautiful. It took off and soared overhead, but then trying to get pictures like that is just another whole new game. So I could go with this picture here. And on the way up the mountainside to Sawtooth National Forest. This is in the Sawtooth National Forest, but it's the Brockman's Hummingbird Feeder Station. And if ever you're in that area looking for Cassia crossbill, because why else would you be there? This swing umbrella, you're looking for Cassia crossbill. You've got to stop at the Brockman Hummingbird Feeders. It was hummingbird heaven. The only thing is, they had so many hummingbird feeders, and there were so many hummingbirds, you never knew which hummingbird feeder to look at. Like, you couldn't just look at one and think that everything is going to come to that one. You'd start looking at one, and they'd start going to the other one. And then you'd look at that one, and then they'd start going to another one. Like, it was very overwhelming. But it was fantastic, because I got my next lifer of the trip, and that was Calliope hummingbird. Beautiful male right here, and these can flare out like this for a display. Hard to see that unless it's actually displaying for the female, but these do fan out like a mask. Really pretty hummingbird. And then I got a few shots of broad-tailed hummingbird. Not a light bird. This is a little bit cropped. Just a little bit. But this one, the juvenile, of course you get the best picture of the juvenile, right? This is, I think, a juvenile male with the speckles coming in there, a broad-tailed hummingbird. And there's a male showing off for me, looking right at me. I had to doctor this one up. It was a little bit dark in here, so I had to brighten that up a little bit. But that magenta color is just so pretty. And black-chinned hummingbird. Now this is why they shouldn't be called black-chinned hummingbird. Maybe they should be called indigo-chinned hummingbird or something like that. Somebody's going to tell me that's purple, or I don't know. What is it? Purple, blue, right? Blue. But these are often found in Michigan at your hummingbird feeder. When the sun isn't shining on the bird, the gorget looks black. So then somebody will call and say, I see this black-chinned hummingbird. It's not a black-chinned hummingbird. It is a ruby-throated hummingbird, and its gorget is just not facing the sun, directing the sunlight back at you. So this is a black-chinned hummingbird. And you can only see this when it's got its head turned in the correct direction. Beautiful bird, though. So I went into the Sawtooth National Forest to look for Cassia crossbill. And why Cassia crossbill? It looks like a red crossbill, but look at its range. Expansive range. See the little dots right there? That's it. That's it. That's where you find them. They have done studies to separate them from red crossbill due to its range, and that they don't wander beyond that and breed anywhere else. They only breed there. Their bill size, their call notes are a little lower, chup, 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 like that. And so look at the eBird range map, and you see that they're only here. You'll see that there are some sightings in other places, but the breeding birds are only here. So I wandered that habitat, going from campground to campground, where eBird was showing them to be, and did not find them. I was hearing some, but wasn't getting any looks, and wasn't confident that I was hearing it well enough. And one thing is, ATV, it was ATV central. So there were ATVs going up and down the dusty roads, and it was dry as a bone there too. Dry as a bone. So all the dust coming up in the air, and the ATVs zipping here and there. It was kind of hard. And the places to look for them were in the campgrounds, where all the ATVs were coming back and forth and to and fro, and I was like, oh my goodness. But I did get looks at western tanager, really close up in my campsite. And red-naped sapsucker. I got it before it flew off, so. I love these shots though. That is not crop. That is actually it jumping out. I had actually just zoomed in to get a closer picture, and that's when it flew off and I got the butt shot. So then I said, I need to take a break. I need to get out of this campground and get up to the ridge line, have a change of scenery, and then I'll come back and try again. Okay. Is that better? Hopefully, it's like a 10-second delay. I'm hoping that that's good. Otherwise, they'll have to make up the words. Yeah. Are you still watching the comments over there? Okay. Why is that? That is odd. Anybody out there, are you hearing me?
Yes,
Audio's fixed? Just sound will be fixed? Yeah, it's just weird. Okay, great. I am so sorry about that. An alarm went off on my phone. This is the first time streaming this kind of thing from my phone. I wasn't thinking about alarms interrupting that. I'm not going to repeat Idaho, sorry. Go watch the videos. Go watch the videos. I'm almost done with part 2, which will actually cover the Cassia crossbill and the white-headed woodpecker story. But part 1 is already out there, which is the first part of the trip up until the hummingbird feeders. So that's already out there. If you're curious about my trip to Idaho, I encourage you to check it out. Ovenbirder, the Ovenbirder on YouTube. You can find it there. And I am really sorry about that. I've got all my alarms turned off. Hopefully now we're good and you can watch Washington. There's no video on Washington yet. I haven't even started that one, so don't plan on that one anytime soon. Washington. I flew through Las Vegas to get to Seattle. And the funny thing is that this winter, I'm going to Las Vegas because I need to bird Nevada. And I was looking to see if I could get any airport birds, but I didn't. I actually had gotten airport birds before, like house sparrow and a pigeon or something like that. So that it's lit up in yellow. We've got 2 species for Nevada. Anyway, flew into Seattle, and I had been to Washington before, but never birded it. And I said, got to bird Washington, got to visit some of the areas that I was at. Back in 1996, I did a trip, my mom and my dad, out to Washington, to the coast in Washington, and really wanted to get back out there and explore a little bit more at Olympic National Park in particular. So this trip, I wasn't too concerned about getting the 50 birds. I knew that that would happen. I really wanted to just see, you know, like when you go to Yellowstone, you go for not just the birds, you go for everything, right? And that's what a lot of these trips are for. But in particular, the Washington trip, I was there for Olympic National Park. And that's where I headed to. First day, I went down to Olympia to Nisqually National Wildlife Refuge. And this is a unique spot because this is tidal water. This is at the very end of the Puget Sound, so the very south end of the Puget Sound, way down in Olympia. And the tide was out. And I could not even see where the solid water was. It was so far out that way. And walking around here, you see these puddles and you see gulls, and I thought I'd see some shorebirds. There really wasn't a whole lot going on as far as shorebirds, but it was just really cool. The view off to the side here was Mount Rainier, was towering over. Really a pretty spot. Nice walk, but it was a long walk on this boardwalk. It's like a couple miles long. And a really unique spot to see the tidal flats there in Olympia. And I did see birds. Guess what? Juna, guess what I saw? Yes, great blue heron. And I saw more great blue herons at that one spot than I'd ever seen in one area before. I mean, it was dozens of them. They were all over the place. I think they liked that there were some streams left, and all the fish maybe were concentrated in little pools, and so they were all in there, just moving all around. And I got to see some great looks at the great blue heron. And then other birds that caught my interest. When they sit still for great photos, I'm going to take it, even though it's you know, it's just a barn swallow. No, it's not just a barn swallow. It's a really cool bird. And when he poses like that, I'm going to make him even cooler. See, he's the coolest bird because I got a photo of him. Barn swallow. And there were cliff swallow nests as well. And one of my favorite shots of the trip is actually this one. And common yellowthroat, we can see right here in Michigan. But that bird was singing 10 feet from the boardwalk, and I just sat there and went click, 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 and got some fantastic pictures of this otherwise skulky bird. Well, then I made my way out to Grays Harbor, which is where I spent the night, and Ocean Shores, which is the north side of the inlet there at Westport, Washington. So this is the Pacific Ocean. I wanted to go here because in particular I was looking for rhinoceros auklet, and that was a lifer for me, and it was one that I really wanted to see, and a lot of people see them here just off the coast or in the inlet there at Grays Harbor. Well, I wasn't having good luck. It was kind of a misty day, and I stood up on top of these rocks scanning and seeing little birds flying by, little alcids, which that's a type of alcid, it's like a puffin bird, a little puffin type thing, with a little horn on the tip of its beak, okay? And I was seeing them, and I'm like, that's for sure what that is. But it was so far out there and misty, I wasn't sure. And so I was a little disappointed. I sat there for quite a while and eventually kind of gave up and said, I'm going to look on eBird and see if there are other locations. There were other locations that I would get to later on in the trip. And I'm like, okay, I'm trusting that I'll find it at these other locations, which is the north side of Olympic Peninsula. So, but what I did see, sometimes you go looking for a particular bird, and then you see the normal bird, the ordinary bird, in an extraordinary way. This savanna sparrow is sitting here singing 15 feet from me, and then this white-crowned sparrow came and chased it out. Now this is not sitting on the same, I have pictures of them sitting on the same thing too, but this was the better one, because you can see right down his throat. White-crowned sparrow and savanna sparrow, I'll stop to take a picture of you any day. Really pretty spot, singing their hearts out. And then I was up and birding alongside the road because I saw a bird up on the power line, which you'll see next. And I heard these little chickadees. I'm like, that's not a black-capped chickadee. That's going to be chestnut-backed chickadee. So that is a Pacific Northwest species of chickadee that you don't see around here, obviously. And they got a chestnut back and chestnut down the sides. Got really great looks at that. So I was happy. I was starting to make my way north up along the coast. And what was the bird I stopped for? Band-tailed pigeon, sitting on the telephone. I've never seen one out in the open like this. I'd only seen them like perched up at the top of an evergreen before, or flying off, or heard them calling. They sound like a cow mooing, way far away. And there he is, just right out in the middle of everything. So, band-tailed pigeon. This is not. It looks like this is going to be just, you see them in the same situations as your normal feral pigeon. No, but his perch is like it. Band-tailed pigeon. So then I went out and stopped at Quinault Rainforest. This is part of Olympic National Forest. The Quinault Rainforest is also part of the national park. They border each other. And I went to the national forest portion and decided to go for a little hike. And I didn't realize how long I would spend there. This place, if you go, fantastic. Quinault Rainforest, there's a lodge down there, so if you like your hotels and stuff, you can stay in a National Forest hotel with restaurants and all the rest there, right in the middle of this rainforest and on a lake. Beautiful. And the trails just filled with ferns and lichens hanging out of the trees. Just beautiful. And everything grows like 10 times bigger than everything else. So, the largest spruce tree in North America, right here. And all kinds of running water, waterfalls, and this spot right here, I had one of my favorite bird sightings, probably of all time. Because what likes those little creeks? The American Dipper. And not only was it an American Dipper, it was a baby American Dipper. And what does it do? It's like it's practicing. I think this is what I'm supposed to do, is stick my head in the water. But I'd rather do this. He's fed by mom and dad. I sat there and watched that little bird get fed by mom and dad for quite some time from this little bridge over this creek. And I just was on cloud nine. Okay. Some more pictures of whole rainforest. This is the national park. And a beautiful walk, a lot more people here. But a beautiful spot. Hard to get pictures of birds there. What you will see is Pacific green. They're everywhere in there. They're singing all over the place. They like to perch up in these open spots here and sing their hearts out. So I got multiple pictures of Pacific wren. And I didn't expect this, but wood duck. So hey, I got a nice picture of wood duck, so I'm going to throw it in the program. Female wood duck. There were some young around too. Within the coast. So we're going to move through this. We've got about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to wrap this up. I think I can make it. This is the first day that I went down to, I think this is Beach 4. I think that's Beach 4. I put Beach 4 on here. I'm pretty sure that this is Beach 4. It's not Ruby Beach. Everybody hears about Ruby Beach. I like Ruby Beach, but the other beaches, I think, beat Ruby Beach. Beach 4 is great for tidal stuff. And this was the first day that I was there, and the next day I went on a program, and you go on the program with a ranger to do the tide pools at the time that they do them, because they know when the low tide is and when it'll be best. And so this is what it looked like the next day. The tide was out. We wandered around in all these boulders, looking at all kinds of things not heard. Sea anemones and sea stars and crabs and you name it. And I was like a little kid. It was fantastic. You can see how big it is. There's a person standing right there. There's more people over there. But look at this. Here's higher tide. I don't even know if that's high tide. And then here it is the next day in the morning. So I did that, nerded out on all things crustacean, etc. there. And then just offshore, you see these little rafts, surf scoters, diving for food. And my favorite beach is Second Beach. This is north, toward the north end. It is Second Beach. It's not Beach 2, it's Second Beach. They named them by that. It's confusing. Second Beach. This is actually near, what's the name of that city that Werewolf Movie and book was written about? Twin Forks. Thank you. Twin Forks. Thank you. The librarian answered it. Forks. It's just Forks. Forks. So Twilight. Twilight, for those of you Twilight fans. I was in Twilight still. I've never read or watched any of the movies, but it was Twilight. So this is near that. And I sat at this spot, scanning, watching common murres and other elsids going back and forth between these rocks. I watched, in this water right here, a sea otter floating and rolling and eating and just loafing. And down the beach over here were a couple of oyster catchers, black oyster catchers. I was on cloud nine again. And here is the sea otter, just cuter than all get out. And it just was floating around, just had nowhere to go. Beautiful, beautiful view. And a beautiful evening as the sun was going down. And then I went up along the north side. This is over several days. I'm not talking about where I stayed and all that kind of stuff. Wouldn't be time. I went up around the north side of the Olympic Peninsula to Salt Creek Recreation Area and Port Crescent. So this is where I wanted to go to find, you named it, right? Rhinoceros auklet. Here it is. It's got some fish in its beak. This is actually a screenshot of this video right here. You want to know how hard it is to see these things? You get on them, and then this is what they do. But I did actually see them flying by, which is really hard to get videos of them flying by, and I can see the little rhinoceros tip on the beak. And so I felt good. I had rhinoceros auklet. And then I also got this cool picture of a pelagic cormorant eating a flounder. And then I moved up to the Olympic National Park mountains, which is an entirely different ecosystem, entirely different birds. Within a couple hours of the shoreline of the ocean, you can be up in the mountains like this. It's fantastic. I've been to a lot of national parks, and it might be my favorite. Olympic National Park, if you have not been, it is fantastic. You got the shoreline, you got the rainforest, and you got the mountains, all within 2 hours of each other. So I'm coming down the mountain. There's a bird I really would like to see because I had only ever heard one once, and I think I saw him one time, but I don't have a good recollection of it. And that's blue grouse, or I should say sooty grouse. They split dusky or blue grouse into dusky interior and sooty as the coastal one. And I said, you know, I just have to pull off somewhere and see if I can find it. I pulled off here, got out of my car. Call just like that. Sometimes you get lucky. I followed that little off trail, just kind of going down, and there it was. And that thing did not care that I was there. It just kept on displaying. It's like it's got corn kernels in its neck or something. And the video that I took of it, you can't even hear it calling because it's such a low resonating sound. The camera didn't even pick it up. Fantastic. I mean, I was probably 15 feet, 20 feet from this bird. Close enough to get a shot like that. So, oh, I didn't even put the grouse's name on there, did I? Oh, oops. But yes, that's city grouse. And with the last day, I decided to go to Mount Rainier National Park. And this is the view from climbing up Mount Rainier. No, I didn't go to the top, but I did go up above tree line from the visitor center up Mount Rainier for a great hike. I was birding, sure, but I was doing more than birding. I was looking at the scenery of the Cascade Mountains. I think this is Mount Hood and Mount Adams, if I'm not mistaken, out there. And you can see in a larger view of this, Mount St. Helens over here, like you can see the whole bunch of the range there. Beautiful views. This is where I hiked from, way down here in the valley. And of course I was seeing birds along the way, and I got an opportunity to take a picture of this guy, Townsend's warbler. So now, can you find Townsend's warbler?
All right.
Okay, I'm playing on it. All right, gotta get those western warblers here in Ottawa County. And there I am, finishing off the trip. The next day, I was going to fly out of Seattle back home, and my list had reached 106 species. I beat 100 species in my 5-6 days there, and I got to climb Mount Rainier and glissade down some snowy slope too. Yes, I did. You don't know what glissade is. You sit down on your butt and you just kind of slide down. It was fun. But that concluded my trip to Washington in June of this year. And so, turning the page, where to next? Well, I already said it, right? The plan is, so now that I filled this up, I got this, there's not much left out west here, but that yellow is really bugging me. So, January, I have booked a trip to go to Las Vegas. I am not going to be gambling with my money, I'm going to be gambling with the birds. And so I'll go to Las Vegas and bird Las Vegas for about a week in late January. I'm going to be after the January coffee with the birds. I'll head out that way about a week after that. And then I've got plans accumulating for June to take a road trip through Canada to New York. I've got a cousin that lives here in southern New York, right in New York City, and an uncle that lives here in Hartford area. So, and my cousin, she's in my line of business. So she knows some birders, and I think she's going to hook me up. So I'm like, yes, you'll help me get Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. I'd like to get out maybe on the Cape Cod if possible. And then I'm going to go up through New Hampshire to Maine. And I'm hoping that I can book a trip out to Petite Manan Island. I think it's Petite Manan. Where you can actually get off the boat, out onto the island and see the puffins up close. So that's my hope. And then I would go back through, get Bicknell's thrush in Vermont, and then head back through Quebec and Ontario back home. That would be June. And after that, what's left? Hawaii. And here you can't even see it. Hawaii, March 2027, that's my goal, is to get to Hawaii in March 2027 and finish this off by the time I'm 50 years old. So I hope that you've enjoyed taking the trip with me this evening, and I hope that you've enjoyed the month reveal tonight. And we're going to wrap this up, and I think you're eager to get your, thanks for joining the adventure. Thank you, and I think that you guys are, and December 6th, right here, Same place, different time. Hope to see you then. Go get your buzz.
Quick reminder, if you're heading straight out, the gate is automatic, just pull up to it and you're not locked in, don't worry.
They got another presentation. What's under this?
Oh my goodness. I never took this off.
The calendar.
The canvas. Okay, so this is now going to go up on display. Get an up close look at it now. Thank you everyone for joining on the live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about Idaho and the audio issues. But congratulations to June and the rest of our winners, and I hope to see you on December 6th. Thank you so much. Take care.